Hey guys, Arbaz here, and I want to share with you some different elements I've included in my test website. It just explains some web terminology, uses various HTML tags, and some CSS styling, and one JavaScript function. At the end, I'm using the Atom text editor, and if you want the source code, I'll link a GitHub repository in the description. So the website needs to have a specific structure to it, where all code is placed in HTML tags, one at the top and one at the bottom. Don't worry about all this, it's actually just part of my table, this chunk of code. Then a head tag for important data, like linking in your CSS file and your JavaScript file. You can have these kind of languages inline in your HTML document, but I have them externally because I think it's easier to manage, and then I just link them in. By default, if you write it in this way, like and the files are in the same directory as your project folder, then they should appear fine on the web page. If they're like a folder up or down, there's different ways of writing it, but I'll link a helpful tool, like information on how to do this. Then I have a header. Oh well, here's my title, and then here's a important part, or it's not, it's just an addition, but this is a favicon, and what this does is produce a small image on your browser tab. So that's my just old logo. So I made a favicon.png somewhere. Here it is, and then I linked it as an icon. Then in the head body tag, this is where you put like lists, tables, and forms. So what did I do? Oh yeah, I made the this header and a paragraph that just explains what the website's about. Then I did a kind of main image, which I did as well, I called it, so here's like my logo, and there are several things happening here. So here's the source, and that actually is linked in, so the same project folder. I didn't have to write any syntax to bring this in. Then alt means like if the image or link for whatever reason fails to load, then this text will be in place, just to tell the user what's happening. And this class is linked to my CSS, so where it says my logo, I've made a CSS class, my logo, and given it certain properties. So it's 100 pixels high, 100 pixels wide, and 4 pixels as border radius to make the image curved, and it just looks nicer, smoother aesthetic. Then I did a horizontal rule, and then these just separate out the page with like a big line. And then here's a list. It's an unordered list, so here's the list item, and that's unordered list. And these still produce bullet points, they're just not numbered, as if I wrote OL, then that's ordered list. And these are just 10 kind of links, or 10 list items that serve as links to other parts of the page. So they're hyperreferences with the I think ID selector. So this hashtag, it means it can only I think only work for one element specifically on the page. So I have ID, and if I want to call it, I do anchor and then ID. And then this grey text, thankfully everything's indented here, so we can see the colors of what are tags and what are links, or and what's being described. So that UDP is now ID UDP here, and then or it corresponds with this, and it actually brings me to that as as a hyperreference, so like internal hyperlink. And then I made a table with oh, if you're wondering why the background is pink, I called the list light list. Then in my CSS file I did background color is that, and I'll link something in the video description how to choose colors easily. So for my table, I've got 3 table headers, which means it's 3 columns wide for name, definition and image. I did have one other table header above those just as a title, so web definitions, and the reason it goes for the whole width is because I did col span 3, so it actually takes up 3 columns wide. Then you do table row for another row, and then you do table data for each cell in a row. So there are 3 cells because there are 3 columns wide. So this is like the name of the definition, the paragraph about what's about. And if I scroll over, then after the paragraph ended, I did a hyperreference, and I actually did the URL of the website. So you have to you have to have the URL of the website, and then over here you can call it any text you like, and that's what shows up. So if I called it like free food, that hyperreference will still take me to techtarget.com. So yeah, the image hover, so that applies to all of images on the web page, because I specified it for every image here, or for every image tag. So this is mainly copied a couple of times, so they're all sourced from this project folder. Here they all have alt tags, and I changed the heights of each. I think I didn't exactly need to, but they look a bit more consistent in size, like one's not overblown or anything. Then I closed the table off, and I added some form at the bottom. It was a bit just messing around, so I had to do green border. If I go to my CSS, here's my end form thing, so I tried to center everything, made a green border of 2 pixels wide, and if I go here, I just say there's a label and a button that doesn't do anything, so you can just say what's up. That's not very good feedback, but you know. And then I can try choosing, oh, this is the function, but I think it's hard coded to these names, so I don't think you can put in your own names. It just takes some people's names and writes out the item in the array, and then just says a string, and then document write, it sorts them out in forward order or normal order, and then it reverses the order. So if I try it, I press OK, and it does this. It's not very nice looking either. I'm not really sure what it was for. That's my catchphrase for no reason at all. I just have that. And yeah, I tried to make the colors consistent, and the font quite like stylized and nice. But anyways, that's my website. Thanks for watching. I hope it's helped you with your programming. Feel free to ask any questions in the comments. Thank you.